Hey, what is up guys? I'm going to be bringing you an Unholy Death Knight PvP guide today. We're going to be crossing most things really. I'm going to be crossing talents, mostly macros and rotation. I'm not going to go into gear because it takes too long. But let's get straight into it. I'm going to tell you why I choose the talents I have. You don't have to go with these, but I'll tell you why I have them and I'll compare them to the other ones. First of all, Rolling Blood. It's really good for RPGs. You don't necessarily have to go for it for arena, but I still like it for arena sometimes. But it's really good for just spreading your diseases, and you do a bit of damage at the same time. And you also, with Reaping, which is an ability that you should know, basically every time you pop Blood Boil, your Blood Rune turns into a Death Rune. And we really need Death Runes in Unholy Spec, because as you can see, none of my runes at the moment are Death Runes, and I need Death Runes for Soul Reapers and Necrotic Strikes. So that is why I go for Rolling Blood. So I encourage myself to use Blood Boil Moles to get more Death Runes. Plague Leech, load of bollocks. It might be good for Frost. Unholy Blight is kind of good. It's okay, but it's not amazing. It's alright. It's alright, but I prefer Rolling Blood because of Death Runes. Lichborne. You need Lichborne. You know you need Lichborne because of the healing macro which I'm going to give you. Death's Advance. Okay, Death's Advance is definitely better for Unholy. It's better for kiting, ultimately. It's like, it complements the Unholy Presence, which is like an increase by 15% in your movement speed. It complements it very well because you can run pretty fast in arena. And it's really good for counting, and you still get the slow from Chains of Ice. And you know, just because you don't have Chillbane doesn't mean you have the slow from Chains of Ice. You still actually have that, and it's about 60-50%. So you still have it. You use Chains of Ice, Death's Advance. You get some good counting going on, and you do a lot of range damage with your, well, not with your pets, but you kind of rely on the pets to do the damage when you're not close to the target, while you're running away and doing your Death Coils, which is obviously ranged. And that's why. Death Pact is a very quick, instant heal, and you need that. And Death Siphon is a load of rubbish at the minute. It might be getting buffed a bit next patch. Probably not good enough still, because it's a waste of a Death Rune. Ultimate waste of a Death Rune. You could just be using Necrotic Strikes. You may as well not do that. Conversion, I've messed around with that a bit. It might be better next patch, but I doubt it, to be honest. So you need that quick heal, ultimately. Blood Tap, definitely a Blood Tap. Yeah, it complements Unholy a lot more because you get to generate more Death Runes. You really need those Death Runes, definitely, for killing warriors and killing casters, and I'll explain that in a second also. Ignore my Gorefinds Grist. Don't use that in arena, but definitely use it in RPGs. Use it into somebody's, use it into a mage's Ring of Frost. That's what I like to do sometimes, but sometimes I just like to, if there's no mages in the group, I like to use Gorefinds Grasp, and then I like to use Outbreak and then Rolling Blood, like after each other. Spread my diseases across the whole raid group. Damage is insane. Discreted Ground, ultimately good for arena. Just make sure you don't use it for stuff like Ice Nova, because it won't pop you out of Ice Nova. It's just abilities that you lose control. So it's like bind and stuns and stuff. It's not actually for slows and etc. etc. So that is the talents, and that's why I would go for those talents. You can also go for a Remorse Winter. I would do that if you're going against 2 double melee DPS, but ranged it becomes a bit less useful, and definitely not against a Retribution Paladin. Never use Remorse Winter against Retribution Paladin. They have freedom, like on a 15-second cooldown. I think if they can use them 2 in a row as well, there's absolutely no point, because they could just escape that so easily. Right, that is the talents. Okay, I'll talk briefly about glyphs. The essential one really is Glyph of Unholy Frenzy. You might not need it so much against a healer. Remember in arena you can switch out glyphs as much as you want, so you know, test whatever the hell you want, but I've been using that for a while, quite like it. That damage you lose is actually quite a lot, to be honest. You don't want to be doing that if you're not with a healer. Nah. Anti-magic shell, really good, because if you use it at the same time as your Lichborne, you seem to heal more because you absorb runic power when you absorb damage with the anti-magic shell. So if you have a bit more absorption, what it does, normally, I found this out myself, this anti-magic shell absorbs the damage by 75% of all incoming damage, but this switches it to 100%. So you will not absorb. You will absorb all the damage up to 50% of your own health, which is amazing. And imagine that, that's on a 45-second cooldown. It is really good. And I'm using pestilence to increase my range of the diseases, mostly for RBGs to be honest, but Death Decay, kinda good for kiting. Dark Simulacrum is really good also, especially if you're against casters. You can steal a lot of spells. I would recommend using that, but everything else is pretty crap. You might want to pick up Icy Touch, but it's not really good for Unholy at the minute because it's a waste of a rune. And then a Strangulate one as well, that is pretty good. Shifting Presence is not that good, not that good at all. It's alright for some situations, but not amazing. That's pretty much all I have to say about Glitz. Okay, let's jump straight into rotation and general mechanics and stuff. As far as rotation goes, you want to open with Chains of Ice, with most situations. Yeah, probably most. You open with a Chains of Ice. Oh, wrong target. Mouseover. There we go. You use your Chains of Ice, and you instantly go to Festering Strike. It's not working on this Raider dummy. That's better, right? Because you want to increase the duration of a Chains of Ice to about 10 seconds. It starts off at 6 seconds, and if you like increase it straight away, and when you keep redoing Festering Strike, you'll find that the Chains of Ice will stay on there for as long as the Chillbane's glyph, so your target's always going to be stunned, to be honest. That's all I can say about that. Which is obviously very helpful, and obviously you need to apply your diseases. That is an essential. No matter what, your diseases should always be on, no matter whatever method you decide to choose. Remember, Chains of Ice does apply Frost Fever, and always have Plague Strike binded just in case you need to reapply it. To keep your Festering Strikes. You just gotta spam Scourge Strike, Festering Strike, Death Coil in whatever order you want. Remember to use Necrotic Strikes on a warrior below 35% health, and use them on casters as well. If they don't have a healer, then you definitely have to use Necrotic Strike. I'll tell you why. Let's read it. Okay, it doesn't just absorb healing. Okay, a lot of people think that it doesn't. It also reduces the enemy's casting time. Well, increases the casting time. So it'll take by 50%. I think it's 25% on player target. So they will have longer before they can cast spells, which is really helpful. You should make sure you keep Necrotics on a caster target. Maybe not on a hunter, because I don't really cast, but definitely on a mage. It's also very, very helpful for killing healers. Because you're absorbing the healing, but essential on warriors. You got to use your Necrotic Strike and Soul Reapers when the second wind is starting to take effect. Because if you get one Necrotic Strike, because second wind is a quite slow heal, it's pretty much going to absorb it for quite a while. And if you keep your damage up, then it's going to be a GG. Especially with Soul Reaper, it's like an instant, quite high hit. So you got to keep using Soul Reaper and Necrotic Strike all the time, as long as you're as far as cooldowns go, right, this is very important to get the most damage from your gargoyle. Right, what the gargoyle does is it takes a picture of your strength stat basically, and it bases all its damage on the strength stat. So you want the strength stat to be as high as possible when you pop your gargoyle. The way to do this is to bind it into a macro, which I will be giving in the description. Let's see, cooldowns. Yeah, just here. It's good. That's the macro there. You want to be popping your trinket and the Unholy Frenzy at the same time as the gargoyle, definitely, and Hot in Winter, just in case you need to reapply it. That's why I've got that in that macro. But you want to aim for popping it when the rune of the Crusader procs, if not if you're a human. When this guy bugger procs, then you pop this. Then let's have a look at the gargoyle's damage each hit. Oh yeah, hang on. There we go, right, let's have a look at the gargoyle. 28k. Another 28k, so that would be about 20k, 15 to 20k on a normal on a PvP target, which is quite a lot considering you don't have to be there to do that damage. You know, that damage is going to happen the whole time, all the time. Unholy Frenzy obviously increases the haste, which makes the damage hit quicker and quicker and quicker. So, which is really, really helpful. So remember to stack as much of your procs as possible before you cast the Gargoyle, because that's going to increase your damage by a lot. If you're ever struggling with rotation, I have this add-on which I will be someone's asking for some unholy help there. I will be linking add-ons which help with that. I've got this add-on called Spell Flash. As you can see, certain things are flashing on my bars here, and it's really helpful because sometimes you forget to reapply Horn of Winter. I mean, that's about 10 runic power, which is good because that increases your damage by a lot if you think about it, because it's generating as much runic power as you can. Okay, let's go into macros now. I'm going to be telling you which macros I use and why I use them. First macro is Chains of Ice Mouseover. So if we look closely, I'm going to cast Chains of Ice on that target there. Haven't targeted it at all. And that one. I have got it on Death Coil and Death Grip. I can't use it on these targets. But yeah, that I will leave that in the description. It's really helpful. You don't just have to hover it over the player. You can hover it over Gladius. It's like, let me show you quickly on my pet. If I hover over the pet frame, there you go, it's cast a Death Coil. And we're going to give you those Mouseover ones for Chains of Ice, Death Grip, and Death Coil. But the thing that's magical about these macros is you don't have to make a separate, like, macro just for the Mouseover effect. You can still use the same one. Like, I'm still using the same one here on my target. It will go on my target. So I can do that, and then I can do it on the Mouseover target as well, and I'll tell you how to make that macro. This is another macro which basically whenever you cast Death Coil, there's also a Mouseover in effect here, you will automatically do the blood tap. So you don't have to cast the blood tap separately. Whenever you use the Death Coil, the blood tap will happen automatically. So you don't have to worry about it, and it saves so much time because it's going to free your rooms up like as soon as you can. So that's another helpful macro. Another one is whenever my pet uses heal, well, when I use heal, I tell the pet to huddle. If you don't know what, I've been making use of this and it's kind of helpful. If you know what huddle is, it reduces the damage taken by 50%, which is going to be helpful because you really don't want your pet dying. You really don't. What you want to be aiming for is when you use Death Pact is to kind of heal your pet as well. But I like to pop the huddle at the same time just to give him a bit of help because your pet is main source of your damage, so you don't want him to die. Okay, now I'm just going to make a quick point about the add-ons I use. You definitely need debuff filter. It's really good. You see this Chains of Ice down here? It's pretty cool. And one other thing about this add-on is you see how my diseases are on the target but we're not displaying on the debuff bar that I've made. When they get to about 10 seconds, they will pop up here and remind me that, hey, you've got 10 seconds left on your blood plague, you need to reapply it, and I'll show you that in a sec. Now, there you go. The diseases come back up and they tell me, you know, you need to reapply them. So, okay then. Get rid of them, there you go. It also shows buffs, like my procs here, which is seriously helpful because, you know, how often am I going to know that my Marine's procking to pop on the cooldowns at once? So you definitely need this add-on, it's really good. I'll make a link of it, obviously. I would definitely, when it comes to interface, like your raid frames and stuff, I'll just keep to the normal ones, but I use this add-on called Move Anything, and you can increase and decrease and move the size of everything on the original Blizzard interface and screen, which makes it really helpful. You want to make sure you don't have a messy interface. You want plenty of space. You only need the essential stuff. Okay guys, thanks for listening to this guide. Plenty more coming on the way. If you comment and request, I'll make whatever the hell you want. I mean, I've got a lot of free time, you know. I'll do one about pet control, I'll do one about how to configure debuff filter, whatever you want, I'll do it. You know, just make sure you comment, make sure you like, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, goodbye.